Can this solve all your Wi-Fi challenges? Let's find out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm looking at home and office Wi-Fi networks. Now, I'm in my home, and I have a really pretty complicated home Wi-Fi installation because I have 30 to 35 different devices connected at any given time. This is the secret challenge of a smart home. You got a lot of devices. So I've tried a lot of different Wi-Fi networks, and most of them haven't worked very well. It's like they work up to a certain number of devices, and then they just start to sort of sputter and run out of steam. Which is why I was interested to try this. Now, this is one of two units. This is the ZYXEL Multy X AC3000 tri-band Wi-Fi system. It's a mouthful. It is a mesh network, and there are two of these, and they are in fact the exact same device, which is kind of interesting, but one of them you set up as the base, and the other one, and actually you can have two more, they work as, we'll call them repeaters, but they're not repeaters, because the whole thing becomes what's known as a mesh network. And a mesh network is way cooler than having one really powerful unit or having repeaters, and we'll come back to that. Now, let me tell you about the ZYXEL units themselves, because they are pretty sophisticated. They run off of a Qualcomm IPQ4019 quad-core CPU with 512 meg of RAM and 4 gig of flash memory. They have 9 internal antennas. So you look at this and you're like, yeah, but mine has these cool antennas coming out of the back, so this is not as good. Now, this is way better, and you don't need those antennas to be sticking out. If we popped this thing open, I'm confident we'd see all sorts of antennas all over the place. Also on the back has a USB 2 port, and here's what's more interesting, is it also runs Bluetooth. So the configuration is really super easy. You plug this in, you start up your smartphone app, and it sees the device and then does basically all the configuration, almost all the configuration automatically. Then you can do the fun stuff like set what the name of your network's going to be and set your password. You should always have a password. I don't even want to hear that you don't have one. And then the app gives you lots of other features too. So for example, I can see all of my connected devices, and I can choose one, and here's Ben's phone. If I want, I can go ahead and put on parental controls that are based on time or based on where they access and such. So I can turn off his phone access to the internet via our network at 10 p.m. every night if I want. So even if he sneaks his phone, he's still not going to be able to use it. So that's pretty cool. The other thing you can do is you can run speed tests. And one of the interesting things about the speed test is that they have what they call a back channel. And this is a super important part of the whole mesh network sort of topology, is that when you have two of these, one of the really important issues is how fast do they communicate. The idea of a mesh network overall is that devices are handed off seamlessly to the most powerful unit based on where they are and where your units are. So if I have my laptop or my phone and I walk around the house, it should just magically transition back and forth between units, which is cool. But that means the connection between the base unit and the satellite unit need to be really fast. And not only does the ZYXEL actually have really fast connectivity there, and the back channel is actually running at about 966 megabits per second at the theoretical maximum, but you can do a speed test and you can find out. So, you know, you have two different networks running, and you have a third secret one just between the two devices to make sure everything's as fast as it can be. Now, let's see, what else can I tell you? So it's a 5 gigahertz back channel between them, and 5 gigahertz, you can also use that for connecting, and you should for any devices like a laptop or a streaming television unit, anything that needs a lot of bandwidth, because 5 gigahertz runs at a theoretical maximum of just under, what, 1 gigabit per second. So it's 966 megabits per second. By contrast, the 2.4 gigahertz network, which is sort of the old school Wi-Fi, and that's perfectly good for most of your IoT, your speaker systems, you know, all of that kind of stuff is going to work just fine. That runs at a theoretical maximum of 400 megabits per second. So 5 gig is more than double the speed. You know, depending on how you have it set up in your home, depending on what you have coming in the first place. But these units are going to give you lots and lots of speed. Now, the app, like I said, has all sorts of really neat capabilities on your smartphone, and it also gives you diagnostics, and it's all remote too. So if I'm away from home and I just have this sense that my kids are going crazy online, I could shut down my entire network. Now, that would be probably a little bit overly aggressive, because all the IoT, the alarm system, the motion sensors, all of that would then go offline too. So there's that. Works with a unified name and password for the Wi-Fi system, so you don't have to worry about, oh wait, well, I'm upstairs, so I think I need to connect to satellite 1. You just don't worry about it, and it just works magically, and it automatically connects to the fastest unit. Super nice. In fact, when I unplugged this satellite unit, everything in the house just connected to the base unit, even if it was slightly slower, because it was further away. So once I plug this in, it will reconfigure itself and all the devices will reconnect at the faster connection. Great. Now, what else can I tell you? It has a built-in firewall. It's IPv6 compatible, important for the future. Network monitoring, diagnostics, all there. Here's one that's really important. It's auto firmware updates. And that's important because every so often there's an exploit in the wild that ends up being a problem. And so this will make sure that your devices are updated as quickly as possible. I already said that it has some really good parental controls, and it also lets you set up a guest Wi-Fi, which then sort of separates that out from all of your main Wi-Fi connections and all of your devices. That's a smart idea. On the back, you can see that it has a, let's see, the power reset button. It has 3 Ethernet jacks and 1 that you use to connect it to your, for example, cable modem. And then you have that USB 2.0. And I can't show you here, but there's actually different colors that it gives you feedback. It'll turn orange or blue or white. And so you have a little bit of feedback on the device too. But generally, it's just going to sit under your table, under your office desk, whatever it is. They're just going to be mostly just hidden away and zipping along. It is also integrated with Alexa, so you can actually say, Alexa, do this, do that, turn off the network, things like that. I haven't actually done that because I don't want my kids doing that, just as an experiment. You know, you got to be careful with that stuff. And they say it supports up to a 5,000 square foot house. I do not have a 5,000 square foot house. That is a lot of square footage. But really, to me, the more important question is how many devices does it support? And I've had up to 40 devices on it at one time, and it seems like it works just fine. So I also want to point out that the package you get actually contains, you can see on the side here, it's 2 different units. So it comes as a set, and it's ready to roll, and there's no real complicated configuration. You unplug your existing Wi-Fi base station, you plug one of these in, you put the other one wherever you want in your house, and then you use your smartphone with the Multi app to actually configure the whole thing via low power Bluetooth. And that's done by, you know, I just let my phone sit on the device until it actually synchronized up. But it just has to be within a couple of feet, and then it's all super easy with this, and you're good to go. I would guess from out of the box to up and running, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how complex your configuration is, possibly even faster, and then you're done. And that's it. That's all you got to do. So I am a big fan. This is working really well in our office and our home, and it's giving us a lot of nice connectivity. So that's what I got for you. Now, before I tell you the price, can I ask if you can click on that subscribe button? Really appreciate when you subscribe to my channel. Cool. Now, the ZYXEL Multy X AC3000 tri-band Wi-Fi system mesh network will cost you $299 for the 2-unit starter set. That's this, so you'll get 2 of these, and you will be good to go with your mesh network. Super easy. $299 at Amazon.com. Go read the reviews too. People like this thing. So, this is Dave Taylor. I better go plug this back in and maximize the performance of my own network, which means I'll catch you in my next video.